I would say the best tattoo artists in this country would tell you to not tattoo your face and to not tattoo your neck, and honestly, not tattoo your hands. Tattoo everywhere, but don't tattoo the main places that people see, especially children. Certain tattoos can be terrifying to children. And not only is location important on tattoos, the meaning behind tattoos can be very important. If you zoom in on some of her tattoos, they are satanic, like they represent evil, okay?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omaomi, aka Petite Diva, and in this video we are discussing a particular video where a heavily tattooed woman came online to share her experience trying to get a job. She specifically mentioned TJ Maxx and how application was rejected. She also talked about how she confronted the manager on why her application was rejected. Now, she made 3 videos about the whole experience, but we're all going to check out 2. So let's check it out together, and then I'll share my thoughts about what she said in the videos.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is really starting to annoy me. So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some automated email. So I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, like you just like don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had like more experience than you. And, you know, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos. She said that wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true, but whatever, I'll leave it at that. So I'm just wondering how, like, teenagers and young adults who haven't had a job before, how are they supposed to get employed if these places are only hiring people with experience? So younger people just can't get a job because they haven't worked enough. So like they'll deny a 16-year-old a job because they don't have enough work experience. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I do okay with money as is, so I didn't like need the job, but I would have liked it to have made some extra money so I could pay off my debt quicker. I want you guys to talk about in the comments what it's been like for you finding a job recently, like if it's been easy or if it's been difficult, and I want to know like what kind of experience you guys have, because I want to see if I'm the only person that's like experiencing this right now or not. And you know, I hate that my tattoos are such a defining factor for me getting a job or not. Like, just because I have tattoos doesn't mean I'm not gonna be a good worker. Like, I do not understand that at all. Because quite literally, some of the most smart, intelligent people I've ever met are people with tattoos and piercings. I could be wrong, but I've seen that, like, in Europe, like, people with tattoos and piercings can get jobs, like, way easier there. So, why is America not hopped on the bandwagon? Another thing too is like all these places, they say that they're hiring, but I feel like they're not. Because I shop at all of these stores and I see hiring now signs, but those signs have been up for months and I know plenty of people are looking for work. So how have they still not hired people? Sorry for the long ranting video, but I just feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. It's so annoying, and for anyone that is looking for a job right now that is younger and doesn't have experience, I truly wish you the best of luck because it is very hard out here right now.
Okay, so this was the first video, and she was talking about the fact that she has not been able to get a job. And it's not like she really needs the job. It's just that she wants another source of income so that she can pay her debt faster. And she was also talking about the fact that she doesn't understand why a tattoo might be a reason why she's not getting the jobs. And she's talking about the fact that the manager said she did not have enough experience and that's why her application was rejected. And so she's saying that if store like TJ Maxx that usually would employ high school students, college students that might not have a lot of experience. If they are talking about experience, how are those ones that are in high school and college supposed to get a job at such places? Any which way, I think in the comment section, a lot of people were talking about things. So she made a second video discussing it. So let's check that one out.
Wow, it's not even 7 a.m. I woke up and read the comments on my video and I have a lot to say. You guys missed the point of that video entirely. I don't need that job at TJ Maxx. I make plenty of money. If I didn't make enough money, I would not be able to afford a Dodge Challenger that has a almost $500 monthly payment. I have thousands of dollars worth of artwork on my body. I have $7,000 breast implants, and I have about $3,000 of filler in my face. And it's crazy. It's like, you need to have money to do those things. I just wanted the job to make more money, because what's wrong with wanting to make more money? But, you know, I posted that video because I knew I was gonna get exactly those kind of reactions. And there's people saying, oh, it's because of your satanic tattoos. So if it is about my satanic tattoos, that's religious discrimination, which it's illegal to discriminate against someone based off of their religious beliefs. And appearance has nothing to do with work skills. Other comments that I noticed is people said that I voted for Biden. I haven't voted before, and I would never vote for him. And people are like, oh, well, leave America. Once my husband is out of the military, that is our plan. But, you know, since he has a military contract to serve out, we can't just leave quite yet. So funny, because it's always like older generations that say that younger people are the ones that get all triggered and stuff the most, when I think it's quite literally the opposite. And old people are in my comments saying that they're afraid of me. Good, I'm glad. I don't want to be around you. Old people are quite literally the reason why the United States is in quite literal chaos right now. All of these politicians literally look like they're about to take their last breath.
Oh my god, this guy is not serious.
So, bottom line, everyone missed the whole point of that video. I don't need that job. I make enough money. So, yeah. I am gonna go enjoy my day getting some Starbucks and shopping.
Okay, so we've listened to two videos. In the second video, she was talking about the fact that people missed the point, that she really does not need the money. And then she started talking about how old people are the ones that have destroyed America and everything. Now, before I share my own thoughts about these videos, I'm going to say straight out of the bat that I have some personal biases that might affect my analysis of this whole situation. And one of them is the fact that I'm a Nigerian. The second one is that I'm a Christian. And the third one is that I'm a healthcare worker and pharmacist. That is going to affect the way I might talk about it. And I'm going to just share what that personal bias would allow me to say about the situation after we checked out other people's reaction to our story, to our experience, to our videos. So let's check what other people had to say before I share my thoughts in full.
I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired?
It was 100% because of your tattoos. Now, I don't have a lot of tattoos like that creator does. I have this one and about 3 others, but I've learned very early on about job stoppers, and that the types of tattoos you get and where you get them can affect your chances of finding a job or a career. Now, if you're in the creative space or you're in the arts, then you don't really have to worry about this nearly as much. But if you're going to be in corporate America or you're going to be in any kind of client or customer facing role, then this does apply to you. But there needs to be some kind of decorum in a professional or corporate sense. So if you do have tattoos, just make sure they aren't too intimidating, too offensive, and can be easily hidden. Take me, I work in leasing in the real estate field, and pretty much all of us have tattoos in that department. But most of us have them on our arms, legs, or anywhere else that we can easily cover it up with clothes. Only one of my colleagues actually has a hand tattoo, but it's so discreet that you wouldn't even notice unless you actually look. Now, I'm personally all for self-expression. You have every right to do whatever modifications you want to do for your body, but understand that what you do can have consequences on your livelihood when it comes to jobs.
So I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about that girl with the tattoos who was applying for a job at TJ Maxx but got denied. And I just wanted to give my thoughts. There comes a time when you just have to stop talking, like, for your own sake. Like, you gotta stop doubling down, tripling down, like, being all defensive. Like, you just gotta stop. The more she speaks and the more she gets defensive and tries defending herself, the deeper and deeper she is just digging her own grave. Like, every now and then there's always someone on TikTok that everyone just dogpiles on. And they do it to themselves! They just make it worse. They dig their grave deeper. And this girl is one of them!
Got a question for y'all about modern employment and tattoos. This is inspired by that woman that's going around where she wondered why she didn't get hired at TJ Maxx. She has a lot of ink on her forehead, on her cheeks, on her neck, and on her chest. And I'm not judging here. I just have a question for those of y'all. If you or someone you know has had a lot of ink in spots that are very hard to cover up or you just can't cover up at all, if you had them done when you were young, has that impacted you with getting any jobs in the 2020s? Reason why I ask about such a specific kind of age group and everything is that when I would cover the Warped Tour and would read alternative press every single month, pretty much all over the place, I would see these, for lack of a better word, kids, they're right out of high school or something, and they have a lot of ink. I'm talking full ink on the upper body, maybe some on the, on their head or on their cheeks or anything like that. There was that, this was, I think, back in the MySpace days where somebody had Earth Crisis tattooed on his cheeks and people thought, haha, that's funny. But the thing is that tattoos are becoming and have been more mainstream accepted, not totally accepted. Sure be nice if they were someday, but it just makes me wonder. It's like, say that you were joining a metalcore band and you thought, man, we're gonna get on all these big tours and play the Warped Tour all summer, and then by 26 your band's broken up and now you're like, well, what am I going to do for employment? Now, there's plenty of jobs that you can do with lots of visible tattoos, but I'm just curious if you tried to, say, get into the corporate world, if it was a deterrent. And once again, I am not casting judgment on people who have ink that is visible. It's just more of like a curiosity more than anything else. And going back to that woman that has been dragged in the comments and her video has been stitched, I'm not going to stitch it here, but you can easily find it here. But it's kind of this thing about how, some people have commented that she has aggressive tattoos, and also she has a pretty standoffish attitude, and people are speculating that's why she didn't get hired. But yeah, it just makes me wonder. Again, I don't have any tattoos. I'm a big wimp when it comes to ink. Maybe one day I'll get a tattoo or so, but it's just something that I just think about.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about...
Hey Pookie, hey girl boss, let me tell you about all this. Hello, my name is Tori. I work in retail and I am heavily tattooed. I have my hands tattooed and I've had them tattooed for about 2 years now. So, while tattoo discrimination is a real thing, I want to put it first and foremost that it is not, it's an optional discrimination. Let me say that. I want to say it with my whole chest because I'm tired of the word discrimination being thrown around so blatantly here. Second of all, myself and this creator have lived very similar life paths. I'm heavily tattooed. I have 2 jobs in retail now, and I almost married a Marine. And we also come from the same, area, actually. But the difference is I moved out because that area was so conservative, it didn't align with myself and my future. For those of you who didn't know, the strikes were very prevalent the last year when it comes to the film and entertainment industry, which is what I worked in. I identify as a costumer or fabricator for the film industry. That's what my hand tattoo here is for. I love fabrication through and through. I make a good chunk of what I wear, and I'm very proud of it. I just want to say this from someone who also comes from the same area. That area is extremely conservative, and discrimination is kind of rampant when it comes to very visible tattoos and a hiring process, unfortunately. But what I saw from this video was that she went in to ask why she was denied the application process, meaning that they haven't even seen what she looks like face first. So there obviously was other candidates that on paper looked a lot better, unfortunately. Now, while a lot of people have been giving her, or this creator, a lot of, bad rep for going in and asking why, I'm kind of in the same vein where I would have too, but I wouldn't have blatantly assumed that it was because of my tattoos. I understand you do have religious tattoos for your religion, which is great, but again, doesn't align with the area that you work in. If you were to apply for maybe that same job up here in LA, there's a high possibility you would get it just because LA is built a little bit different than where you're currently located, which I'm not going to disclose because I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. Now, I think it's kind of ironic or funny that you bring your husband into the mix and he is heavily tattooed, but note that he doesn't have his hands, his neck, or his face done, and that is for a reason. That reason was the same one that my ex-fiance didn't have his done either because he was a Marine, because the job wouldn't let him. I want to say that loud for the people in the back. The job would not let him. And while I do want to feed into this video, not in the way of bait, like this person is, I do want to say with my whole chest that this was a slippery slope. And if you weren't going to expect backlash, I don't know what else you were going to get out of it. I do apologize that you are getting hate from it, but it does seem like it's coming from a pretty negative place and not a place of learning. When I started getting more visible tattoos like my hands, I understood that there were jobs in the future that I could no longer accept because people, don't like that kind of thing. But luckily, I've worked in jobs where I've been able to have them no problem. There's never been a dress code when it comes to my tattoos or my hands, and I'm very lucky and very fortunate because of that. And I think if you are looking for a second job, you should probably go into a trade, pick up a skill set that you could do. I know a lot of Marines or people in the armed forces know a lot about welding. Maybe ask your husband about welding. It's a good option. I know how to solder, and I'm moving on to welding just because it broadens my skill set for the field that I will go back into once things lighten up in LA. And I keep hearing the one critique or criticism that people are giving that money talks but wealth whispers, and I want to say that first and foremost, that is so true.
I don't need that job at TJ Maxx.
So then why did you apply for TJ Maxx? Is that the cool thing to do? Should I apply for TJ Maxx?
A job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago, and they denied.
You have a demon spider on your neck. You applied to work at TJ Maxx. Look, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Look however you want. I would hire you. I'm sure you're a good person, hard worker. That's all great. But you know who does give a shit? Sharon, the 52-year-old general manager of the TJ Maxx at the Washington Square Outlet Mall in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or fucking whatever. Look, do whatever you want to do, but you had to know that this is how it works.
Or if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos.
I literally just talked about this yesterday. After getting tattooed, I made a huge choice to get a pentagram tattoo on my neck. And at the time I was like, oh, here we go. When I got it done, people were like, you're hindering yourself from job opportunities. At this point, I feel like it's pushed the right people away. I don't want to work in a 9-to-5. I'm a creative person. And whether you think tattoos makes you look like a sketchy person, non-trustworthy, not professional, I beg to differ. There are sketchy people everywhere, and people with tattoos can be sketchy. 90% of the people I've met with tattoos are the most kindest, creative, beautiful people I've ever met. And you know why they're that way? Because people treat us like we're thieves and people who just need to be in jail or come from jail. Your judgment of people with tattoos is probably projecting, and maybe get to know the person first.
A lot of places don't like tattoos.
Okay, to summarize that video, that 23-year-old woman applied for a job at TJ Maxx. They said she didn't get it due to lack of experience. She feels like she didn't get it because she was judged on her tattoos. Okay, I don't have any tattoos. My husband does. He has around 30 tattoos. He has an entire sleeve. Let me tell you where that sleeve stops. Right here. You want to know why he stopped his sleeve right here? So that if he were to go into any job interview, any professional setting, he can cover up his tattoos with a shirt. Now, you can agree or you can say that's awful that he feels like he'd be judged for tattoos. But when we make certain decisions, such as piercings, tattoos, altering our body, talking in any certain way, cussing, we have a freedom to do that. However, we are not free of certain consequences that come with our decisions. I'm not against tattoos, but realistically speaking, if you feel like if you know you're going to have to start applying on jobs, there are certain areas on your body that I would not recommend getting tattooed. I would say the best tattoo artist in this country would tell you to not tattoo your face and to not tattoo your neck, and honestly, not tattoo your hands. Tattoo everywhere, but don't tattoo the main places that people see, especially children. Certain tattoos could be terrifying to children. And not only is location important on tattoos, the meaning behind tattoos can be very important. If you zoom in on some of her tattoos, they are satanic, like they represent evil, okay? If that's how she feels, that's how she feels. However, I will tell you, 99% certainty, if I would have, as a Christian, tattooed on my face, Jesus is King, with Bible verses running down my cheeks, I would be judged for that, and I probably wouldn't be in the career I am today, because people would not like that. I'm not saying it's right that people don't like that, but again, we have to understand that certain things we do as humans, there will be consequences. Even if we don't agree with those consequences, how you change your body, people will judge you for that, and you have to be aware of that. Okay, I hope she finds a great career that is more fitting for her. I'm not sure if TJ Maxx is fitting for her, but before you go do anything to your body, be aware that unfortunately people will judge you for that, and it could hinder you from any type of professional advancement you're wanting to make. And I'm sorry to that girl, but I'm going to assume it was the tattoos.
So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago, and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me.
I'm sure you guys have seen this video. I want to give my 2 cents as somebody that has a lot of tattoos and also wants to be a tattoo artist, and shamelessly showing my most recent flash sheet because I'm very proud of it. Anyways, I think it's great that Gen Z is destigmatizing tattoos and having tattoos, and we're seeing a lot of more people that are tattooed in professional settings nowadays, as opposed to like 10, 15 years ago. But I will say that we are not the ones that are doing the hiring, and we probably won't be the ones doing the hiring for another 15, 20 years. Like at most places, your hiring manager is going to be an older millennial or a younger Gen Xer, and there is still such a stigma around tattoos in those spaces. Now, what I want to talk about is how lightly Gen Z takes tattoos and being tattooed. Because I also had this mindset for a long time. Like, I started getting tattooed when I was 18. I've gotten a lot of basement tattoos, a lot of really shitty, like poorly done tattoos. And at the time I was like, oh, it's just like whatever, like it's fine. They will be here for the rest of my life. Like my good tattoos, my bad tattoos, they will be on my body until I die. They will be here forever, okay? It's not some sort of impermanent decision like dyeing your hair a bright color or doing crazy makeup or whatever. Like, you cannot change this about your skin anymore. It's there forever. So like with my hands, I had to consider for like years. Like, I knew I wanted to get my hands done, but I knew I needed to have more arm tattoos, and I needed to have like a more stable like view on like what I was going to do with my life, because there was times where I wanted to be a lawyer, there was times I wanted to go into a medical field. And so I wasn't comfortable getting my hand tattoos until I had like a pretty clear vision of what I wanted to do. Now, I mentioned I want to be a tattoo artist, so once I really figured that out, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get my hands done, knowing that, okay, I'm not gonna probably be able to be in a medical profession. I'm probably not gonna be able to be a lawyer, not gonna be able to be in some sort of like corporate office, like professional office, something like that. But like, when you Gen Zers get this like aggressive neck tattoo, whether you think it's aggressive or not, it's aggressive to people. When they see you, the first thing they see is that you have a demon spider on your neck, a goat on your chest, and a heavily shaded forehead piece. Like they look great, but that's the first thing people see. And if you are not comfortable with the fact that those tattoos are going to possibly restrict you in the future, you shouldn't have gotten them. Like, you shouldn't be getting these heavy, aggressive, like very visible tattoos unless you recognize, okay, I might not be able to get a customer-facing job again, because customer-facing jobs have to be an approachable person. An approachable person has to be working in retail, etc. And when you have these heavy tattoos, you don't look approachable. Like, I want to get my neck done, but I will not be doing that until I am a tattoo artist, and I am years into tattooing, because necks are way, way worse than hands, like pain-wise, and also just like society-wise. Like, your face is the first thing people see. Like, I can hide my hands, but I can't hide this, you know? Like, you have to recognize the permanence of tattoos when you're getting them, and how they are potentially going to affect your life and your employment in the future before you get them. And if you don't, that's on you. That's not on the people hiring you. That's not on the people that won't hire you. It's entirely your decision to do these body modifications to yourself. You have to deal with the repercussions, okay? I'm just saying, Gen Z takes tattoos really lightly. They're not a light thing, you know? Like, if you have like a little heart and little flowers, whatever, but like, if you're a heavily tattooed person, that's you, you know? Like, that's the first thing people see about you, and you have to recognize that.
Okay, now wait a minute now. You said, I think she's actually correct that everyone missed the point of her video. Yes, she looks ridiculous, but she says, this is key, TJ Maxx denied her without ever doing an interview. That's her point. She didn't say that she never did an interview. So I actually went back to her original video. In the beginning, she describes what happened. She said that her application was denied and she never got a phone call. So if she left it at that, then I would have assumed, okay, she never even got to the interview stage, right? But when she goes into the describing going back to the store and asking like, hey, like, why did I get denied? And the person said, oh, it's because of your qualifications, da-da-da. And then she asked, was it because of my tattoos? So if she never had an interview and those people never even saw her, why would she ask if her tattoos were a factor in not receiving the job if no one at the company ever saw her in the first place? Unless she put that she has tattoos on her resume. I don't know. I did try to include that clip in this video, but for whatever reason, my screen recording was not picking up the audio of the video. But go back and watch that original video. In that first part, she describes what happened, and it does appear with those context clues that she did have an interview. We can only assume exactly why they decided not to hire her, because it could be her tattoos, but it could also be her personality or how she did in the interview. We don't know, but there you go.
Face and neck tattoos were gonna make my job search a little difficult.
All right, I'm going to try and be as like respectful as possible in my response, but like as a heavily tattooed person that will not do my chest, neck, or face, I have to weigh in on this a little bit. So I own a salon and I've been doing hair for 8 years. When I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be covered in tattoos and piercings. I didn't really follow through on as many piercings as I wanted back in like 2010, but you know, this is still, you know, a lot for a face. And
I have a ton of tattoos. Like, I have a whole left sleeve, you know, and I have my hand and my fingers, and I have stuff all over my legs, and I even have some gruesome stuff on my legs. But unless you have true job or financial security, or you're in a field that makes sense, why are you even doing that? Like, I feel like that should be common sense. Unless you have true job or financial security, stop tattooing your neck, your chest, your face. Stop doing that. Even though I own my own salon, I still don't feel confident enough to take that risk. You can't really truly be surprised. And in her video, she's saying, you know, TJ Maxx pays minimum wage. They shouldn't be so picky about what their workers look like. I love TJ Maxx, but I have never seen somebody like her, or even that looks like me. And I'm like very mild compared to her. Like, work at TJ Maxx, Marshall's, like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. I hate to say that because I don't think we should judge. You know, it shouldn't matter. I'm sure you can have fantastic work ethic and look like that, because I know I look like this and have amazing work ethic. But unless you are in a field where that makes sense, or you have true financial security, what is going on? Why are we not thinking things through? Because this was all a choice. And you reap the consequences of that. Like, this should just be common sense. Stop fucking tattooing your face. Make sure you have job security. Make sure you're in a field where that is acceptable. Please. I don't know why this is really hard to comprehend.
Kim Kardashian famously said, "I would never put bumper stickers on a Bentley," talking about she would never put tattoos on her beautiful body. This young lady is going viral right now because she tried to get a job at TJ Maxx Home Goods, and they said that she didn't have enough experience. No, it was about the tattoos. TJ Maxx Home Goods customer base is Generation X, Boomers, and some conservative and moderate Generation Z people. They do not want someone greeting you at the counter and trying to get you to sign up for a TJ Maxx credit card looking like this. And this is not to shame her. This is just to say that you got to be careful when you're doing tattoos and when you're doing any types of piercings or body modifications. People are going to take that into account when they decide to hire you, when they decide to do business with you, when they decide to befriend you, when they decide to date you. Start thinking about these things before you do them, guys.
And they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me...
No way, TJ Maxx denied your application with a tattoo of the devil and a demon spider on your neck? Who would have thought? I did. Everybody else on the planet did too. What kind of delusion are you living in where you think you can tattoo a demon spider on your neck and get a happy, wholesome job at TJ Maxx? What are you talking about, bro? You must have known the consequences of your actions when you got those tattoos. You had to have known, my guy.
Now, a lot of people were telling her that, yes, it's probably tattoos that is hindering her from getting jobs. Some people actually use this story, this scenario, to advise younger ones that want to get tattoos in places that they can easily cover up so that they don't have this kind of situation happening to them, and then they start lamenting because no matter how you want to say it's a free world and everything, businesses will be businesses because they have to profit, they cannot perish. And if part of the job, it involves you facing customers, your tattoos might prevent you from getting the job, because some people would have prejudice to seeing tattoos and piercing just like hers. Now, like I said, I have some personal biases because I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Christian, and I'm a healthcare worker. Being a Nigerian, growing up in Nigeria, the people who have tattoos, especially a lot like she does, and those kind of piercings, they are looked at as people who are outside the society norm. So they are looked at like they are irresponsible, they're delinquents, they are thugs, There are people who deal in illicit things. So personally, as a Nigerian, most Nigerians, people like her, we would just think, okay, who is this person? Is this person going to harm me when we see this person? And I did not fully understand how your environment and where you grew up in affects your behavior and your thinking until I went to the UK. And this whole thing about how your environment conditions your thinking was evident when we had an issue in my house. Like, we had an issue with the Wi-Fi and the company sent someone. Now, if I did not see this person, and this is me being honest, if I did not see this person come out of the official car of the company, I would not have allowed that person to enter the house. I was the only one in the house, and it was a guy, and he had tattoos. Because I'm a Nigerian, and like I said, in Nigeria, most of the time, look at people who are heavily tattooed as people that are outside the society norm. So they are irresponsible, they are delinquent. So in my mind, if I did not see the guy coming out of the official car, I would have just thought he was a thug. I would have thought he was coming to do something to me, so I would not have opened the door. But I saw him come out of the car. I saw him wear the vest. So at least I thought, okay, this person is official. And I think it was having a name tag or something, so I allowed him to enter. But that was just a clear example of how society affects your behavior and your thinking. So for me, seeing someone like this, that's the first thing I'm going to think, that this person is not a good person. This person is an irresponsible person. And it took a while for me to actually like recondition my mind and know that not everyone that has tattoos is a bad person. People just like to have tattoos. A second factor that would affect how I see this kind of person in the public or in a store and a business is the fact that I'm a Christian. Now, some of the tattoos she had was scary as heck. Honestly, as I was watching it, I was just like, I had to start looking behind her just so that I cannot see the tattoos, because if I see someone like her with other tattoos, the dark tattoos, passing me, I'm telling you, instantly I begin to pray. I begin to rebuke every spirit of darkness, because that is just looking weird and looking scary. And another thing is because sometimes I begin to think things, and some things, when I see them, used to affect me when I'm sleeping. I don't want to kind of start dreaming of things that I'm not supposed to dream. So it's going to be an unconscious thing. I will just begin to pray. My spirit begin to speak against negativity. So if I meet this kind of person in an establishment like TJ Maxx, I'm more likely to avoid her. And that is me being honest. And if I feel like she's the only one that has always been in front, I might not go to that store. And I know that a lot of people would feel the same way, which would affect the business. So unless she's put in a position that is not customer facing, a lot of business will not want to take people that have pierced themselves like that and have such tattoos, especially on the face, neck. I know a lot of people have tattoos that are working in customer facing places, but they have it on places where they can easily cover up with their uniform or things. Also, like I said, I'm a healthcare worker, and at least in the Nigerian healthcare profession, people who work in the healthcare profession don't have tattoos like this. So if you come with tattoos like this, everybody's looking at you strangely. The whole environment, the patients are looking at you strangely. The people will not want to mix with you. Patients will not want to even associate with you. They will request for somebody else, because they feel, like I said, in Nigeria, you would be looked at as irresponsible. And I know it's in a lot of countries, healthcare workers are supposed to be they are supposed to look a particular kind of way. We are supposed to act a particular kind of way because we're dealing with lives, and we are facing patients, and we are also trying to get their confidence and being professional. I know there are so many healthcare professionals that have tattoos, but you're not going to see them have tattoos and piercing like this. First of all, you're having piercing like this and you're working in the hospital. Infection, knocking at your door. Sometimes we have piercing. I have a piercing in my ear. We have piercing. But you find that at one point in some places you will have to remove everything. Even your rings, your watch, you will remove everything because infection control. So you will see that a lot of healthcare professionals look a certain kind of way and don't do certain kind of things. I've also seen a lot of healthcare professionals that have tattoo, but you see, like I said, they'll have tattoos in places where they can easily cover up, or they have tattoos that are not as dramatic as our own. So as a healthcare worker that is in that scenario, seeing someone having that kind of tattoos and piercing, I'm like, really? So basically, these are the things that make me not really feel that the TJ Maxx manager was wrong in if they rejected her because of her tattoos, because they have to also look at the bottom line, and the bottom line is those tattoos are scary, the piercings are scary, and she was probably applying for a customer facing job, and so many people, even in our comment section, she said so many people were saying they were scared, and that's the honest truth. I said, that person, I'm going to be scared. It's even worse if it's a guy. No, if it's a guy, I will be terrified. This is me being honest. I will be terrified. He will be coming like this. I will be turning and running because it's just scary. Honestly, it's scary. And a lot of people try to talk to her and tell her this is the reason. Even on the reactions, people were saying the same thing, that it is the tattoos and the piercing are just a bit too much. There were some heavily tattooed people who replied that, and their tattoos were not on their faces, and even the ones on their neck were not scary. They had on their hands, they said they had tattoos in other places, but looking at them, you know that they can wear things to cover up and look a particular kind of way. Once they're outside the place, you can remove everything, nobody cares. But if you know you're going to be facing customers, if you know you're going to be facing people, you cannot say that, oh, it's wrong for them not to employ you because of your tattoos. Because at the end of the day, a business must profit or it perishes, and that is the honest truth. Now, people have advised that, and I don't know if she's going to listen, because like I said, she made a third video, and that video is about 7 minutes long. Not playing it, not watching it, because I know that she'll be trying to defend herself. Some people in the comment section of some other videos said that it might not even be her tattoos that made them reject her, that they probably checked her digital footprint by checking her Instagram page, and they saw some things that is not in line with their company's policy. I didn't check the Instagram page because from what they said, I don't want to check the Instagram page. But any which way, that is my own biased, I'm going to say it, yes, biased thought about this situation. I don't know what you guys think about this whole situation. I would love to hear your thoughts about our experience, about what people said. I would love to hear your own thoughts, biased or unbiased, about the whole situation. So please leave your comment in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.